This is the first time that I've seen mango with eyes. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Hello, good morning. Actually, good afternoon. It's about just after lunch or so. Okay, hi, you're watching Great Speed Eats, and we're here at Chinatown Complex to talk about a relatively new stall. Just over 2 years old, and they sell excellent bak chang with that old school traditional Hokkien bak chang taste. And that is pretty hard to find these days. For those of you who don't know, bak chang are basically glutinous rice dumplings wrapped into a pyramid shape using bamboo leaves, and there are all sorts of ingredients inside. Started by Mr. Soh, who is in his late 50s. He only wants to be known as Mr. Soh lah, you know. He left his job in the financial line in the middle of 2020 and switched careers during the COVID-19 pandemic to focus on making the bak changs, which his China-born grandmother used to make when he was younger. His grandmother was born in Anxi, China. So come, let's have a taste. Hello, hi. Do you mind if I buy? Possible to eat here? Can I? Okay. Do you mind if I get one of each?
I stand for you.
Yeah, can, yeah.
Okay, you take a seat. 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes okay, can.
Yeah,
Okay.
I stand for you first.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I just placed my order and I've ordered one of everything that Mr. Soh orders lah. He used to only sell Hokkien bak chang with or without salted egg, but now he has expanded his menu to include red bean ki chang with and without mandarin peel. So they're going to steam the changs now, because you can actually eat the changs here, but only after a certain time lah, not in the morning. Maybe in the afternoon when they're less busy lah. You know? So it'll take 10 minutes, so we just have to wait. I might pay you for the 4 lah. No. No mind. It's okay, no. You know how I am, right? Okay?
I'll keep you the change to you later.
Okay. Whew, got a lot of food here, my goodness. We steamed it, took about 10 minutes, maybe a bit less. Unwrapped it, put it onto plates, and here we go. Okay, we have got the 2 Hokkien changs with and without salted egg, and then we have got the ki chang, red bean ki chang paste, with or without mandarin peel. Okay, I'm going to try every individual component of the bak chang. Then I'll tell you why it's so special. So trying, let's see, what do I have here? The meat, there we go. They use pork belly, but it is rather sizable pieces lah. So I'll show you. Fantastic. They use pork belly, some jambak, but it doesn't come as a 3-layer piece lah. You know, it's actually broken up, but the pieces are relatively sizable, maybe a bit bigger than what you would normally get. There's a little bit more meat, I think so, as compared to the commercial bak chang in the market. So since it is pork belly, right, it is wonderfully fatty, and it's very well marinated with very balanced soy flavors lah. So you can taste the white pepper, you can taste the soya, you can taste the 5 spice. You can tell that the marination is very deep now. The texture is on the firmer side. I mean, the marination of the meat is more robust, complex, and it's more distinct lah, the flavors, as compared to the other bak chang brands out there who tend to season it a bit plainer. They go for a more basic seasoning lah. Not that it's bad, you know, it's just different. I mean, FYI, I'm only comparing SohGood with the small handful of commercial bak chang brands who sell all year round lah. And there are only about 4 or 5 of them in the market. So as I said, many of them tend to season it more basic, not so complex. And that's because they season their glutinous rice a little bit more. So the overall flavor doesn't get too over flavorful lah. But here's the interesting thing here. Things get interesting when you actually try the glutinous rice, okay? So let me pick up a piece. The glutinous rice may look well seasoned. It is of a darker color than what you normally get. They probably add more dark soy sauce into the mix, but the seasoning is actually lighter than what you would normally expect. It's not so salty, and it's not as flavorful, and it's a little bit more basic as compared to the other commercial bak changs in the market. And there's a little bit of oil richness inside, so it's good, because it actually provides that contrast between the more robust flavoured pork belly and the lighter seasoned glutinous rice. So there's a little bit of complexity going on there. So the texture of the rice, I mean, that really depends. I mean, how they do it is that it is actually on the firmer side and it is slightly soft, very, very slightly only, but it is on the firmer side. The texture will obviously vary depending on how much you actually steam the bak chang. At the stall, they boil it once to actually cook it, then they leave it, and then you're supposed to steam it to heat it up a bit. So steam it longer and the texture of the rice becomes softer, and when you steam it less, the rice texture will become firmer. So included are also the mushrooms, and they are rather generously cut. I wouldn't say the most generous in the world, but it is okay. Firm, bouncy, decently cut and lightly marinated. And of course there's the whole chestnut which is here. Adding a whole chestnut inside a bak chang is pretty standard and it's nicely done, cooked but a bit on the firmer side, very nice. So you can also get a salted egg option, which is interesting because it's not very salted and it comes rather oil rich. Yeah, it's more oil rich, less seasoned for some reason, not too sure. And you can taste a little bit more of the egg taste. I mean, sometimes salted egg in commercial bak chang is more dry and saltier. It's not the case at SohGood. Oh, by the way, the prices. So for the Hokkien chang with no salted egg, it is 380. If you add a salted egg, the price jumps to 460. So there's an upcharge of 80 cents. So the overall flavour is actually very nicely balanced. Sometimes commercial bak chang can be a little too sweet or a little bit too salty. The other great thing about his Hokkien chang is that there are sizable chunks of pork fat, all within the bak chang. It's like nice bursts of fat richness that you get while you actually eat. It's really sinfully good. I talked to Mr. Soh and it seems that his preparation process is rather detailed. The rice and meat are actually fried separately, then the chestnuts are actually pre-soaked, then cooked until it's firm but soft. And Mr. Soh even uses the traditional bamboo string to tie up his bak chang instead of the more commonly used plastic raffia string. So that's a nice touch. Okay, next. These are the new additions to SohGood Bak Chang. And I haven't tried this before, but his Hokkien chang is so good. I'm pretty sure his red bean ki chang will be good as well. But let's try it. As I said, this is basically red bean ki chang with and without mandarin peel. Without mandarin peel, it is 240, and then when you add the mandarin peel, it's just 20 cents more, which is 260. So trying the ki chang without the mandarin peel. The rice is nice and bouncy, as per what the rice in ki chang is supposed to be. He didn't heat up the red bean ki chang because you don't actually have to, Once it's boiled, it's actually ready to eat anytime. Very nice red bean flavor. It's sweet, but it's not overly sweet, which is good. And there's oil richness. You can taste the oil, but it's not overwhelming. Very nice. Very nice smooth texture also. Now let's try the ki chang with the mandarin peel. See what a difference it makes. Oh my god, this is amazing. You can imagine how much you can actually improve on the red bean ki chang, right? The tangerine peel, mandarin peel just makes it even more compelling. I mean, the aroma of the mandarin peel just hits you right in the face. It's amazing. So apparently he got the idea from red bean soup because in red bean soup, you add mandarin peel to it, and then there's this wonderful aroma as you actually eat it He suspects his grandmother actually added it into the red bean ki chang as well when he was a young boy That's why he decided to try it out Okay, finished. I finished one Hokkien chang and two of the ki chang. This is way too much for me This is one more over here, so I'm gonna pack it to have it for tea later. So that was a look at SohGood Bak Chang, which sells the very good old school Hokkien Bak Chang. But would I travel half across Singapore to eat here? A definite yes. I mean, in Singapore, you get many businesses selling bak chang during the Dragon Boat Festival, which happens normally in June, and you can get some very good ones during that period. But for all year round, there are only a few businesses which actually sell bak chang. SohGood is one of them. And among the businesses that do sell all year round, right, SohGood's Hokkien Chang is easily the best in my opinion. So this stall is actually an easy recommendation for me. That said, you might have trouble actually obtaining some, as only a limited amount is available every day. The business is run solely by Mr. Soh, but he does get occasional help from his wife and relatives who help out with the order taking and the wrapping of the changs. But since it's a limited amount every day, right, when the rice dumplings run out, it runs out for the day. Pop in the mornings if you want to make sure that you get your hands on some. So thanks for watching another episode of Great Sea Eats, where you choose the whole of Singapore. If you liked this episode, give a like, subscribe, comment below, and turn on the notifications bell. And I'll see you the next month for more eating. Bye bye.